the majority in Parliament has denied claims they are in bed with the Electoral Commission to create new constituencies. The group claims the addition of new constituencies is necessary for enhancing participatory democracy and good governance in the country.
The EC is exercising his mandate under the Constitution, and we, as a Parliament, and when you talk about Parliament, it's both sides of the House, all sides of the House. It's not majority process, it's the parliamentary process.
Now we lead government business.
Yes, it's parliamentary process. And we have the mandate to pass bills into law, to look at loan agreements and then deliberate on them and then pass them, approve of them, to approve of ministerial nominations and nominations to the highest court of the land, and also to look at CIs and either annul them or let them come into effect if they do not conflict with the Penal Act or the Constitution. That is our mandate. So we are also merely, Parliament is also merely exercising its mandate, and not that we have any peculiar interest or secondary interest. No, we are dealing with the tenets of the Constitution. We have a duty to do this, and we are doing that just like the Electoral Commission have done their duty by bringing it to Parliament. We are not in bed with anybody. I have already said that there's no item of truth.
Though the name of the constitutional instrument has changed 3 times already, Majority Leader Cletus Avoka says they have never tinkered with the name of the document and blames the date and naming errors on the State Publishing House.
The Electoral Commission brought a corrected version of CR 73, which I laid on his behalf. However, when the instrument was sent to the Assembly Press for printing and gazetting, as demanded under Article 11.7 of the Constitution and Regulation 77 of Outstanding Orders, the officers at the Publishing House decided to renumber the CI as 77. Incidentally, too, the Publishing House printed on 16th August instead of 15th August as captured in the votes and proceedings as the date of laying of the instrument.
He also alleged that the minority is being mischievous by raising so many flags about the constitutional instrument. The new CI 78 is likely to come into effect on October 3.
I'm telling you that as of now it's CI 78. So go and tell the people that it's CI 78. Don't go confusing the people, talk about CI 78 have been withdrawn, CI 77 have been withdrawn. Why it does not exist legally? So don't go about trumpeting CI 73 and CI 77. CI 78 is invoked, and you should be talking about that one. You should be educating and informing your listeners about CI 78.
The majority's press conference comes 2 days after the minority held a similar one to kick against the creation of the new constituencies.
The controversy surrounding the infamous NDC national organizer Yaw Boateng Jan seems to be deepening each passing day, with calls for him to be sanctioned. The latest to speak on the issue is Kofi Adams, spokesperson for the Rawlinses, and he joins me on the line now to give us some details. Good evening, Mr. Adams, and thanks for joining us on Joy News at 8.
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners and viewers.
All right. First of all, let me find out what exactly is your problem with the issue as far as Mr. Jan's tape is concerned.
I think my problem is not with Mr. Jan, but my problem is the way the leadership have handled the issue. Okay. Because when cases like this come up, leadership must act in such a way that you would rebuild confidence in the institution, especially when you are the governing party. But if you act in a way that seems to show like you're dealing with the matter with some level of arrogance, as if you don't care, then you create problem, especially when it is so close to an election. You're behaving in a way that will not help our candidates' process of what? Re-election. The party needed to have reassured Ghanaians that, look, the party is not in support of such an action, and that the national organizer possibly overstepped his bounds, and that the party feels that the security agencies are well able to protect everybody, and that Ghanaians should not take anything against any security persons, and we don't intend to issue any national security ID cards to party persons. But instead of doing this, the General Secretary rather ends up accusing the main opposition of doctoring the tape. But it doesn't help. Whether the tape was doctored or not is no longer the issue. Now we have waited for the chairman of the Peace Council, the various leaders, the National Security Coordinator, persons like Emmanuel Bombande, CEO of OneNet, for all of them to speak against it. It takes away from your integrity.
Well, some would say that of course, you have had a similar issue, which of course led to your suspension. Some would say probably you are just aggrieved because in your case, the executives seem to have taken the action rather quickly than as is the case with Mr. Boateng Jan.
My problem is that if it is just about me just being aggrieved, like there's no problem. But people will begin to look at even the party to question whether indeed we are just and fair, whether we have the leadership that will uphold truth and justice, whether we care. Because when the General Secretary says that, what the people that is heard, there's nothing that is working against the NDC. We are not a political party only to think about what works for or against it. We must also think about what may work against the interests of the state. If we are seen as being so very partisan that we don't even care about what may go against the interests of the state, it will be very dangerous for us. So I don't care what the party decides to do to him. It's not my business. What I have thought is the way we react to this matter, such that we can rebuild confidence.
Okay.
People will not pass for that and attack the security agencies that, oh, these are maybe possibly NDC trained security or not.
But would you expect the executives to hand him probably like a suspension, as was in your case? Because he has come out to admit that, of course, indeed, that is his voice on the tape.
Oh, I doubt if they will do that because he is not one of the persons they are targeting to do that. And so I doubt if they will do that.
But before I let you go, though, I know you hinted of a possible court action as far as your case is concerned. How far with that?
Oh, we've been in court. The court is in recession, and so I know when they resume from holiday, possibly we will continue because I'm challenging the illegality in the action that was taken against me. You can't believe it that the so-called letter of petition was written many days after, but backdated to justify the decision that they took, and this is very criminal.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we'll leave it right there. Many thanks to you, Kofi Adams. Kofi Adams is a spokesperson for the Rawlinses, and he's been speaking to us about the recent tape that has come out, which has the voice of the NDC's national organizer, Yao Boateng Jan, speaking about recruitment for the special forces. But let's move along now. And the People's National Convention's flag bearer, Hassan Ayariga, is once again having to deal with disquiet from within his party. He's been accused of attempting to sell the PNC to the NDC. According to Atiq Mohammed, national coordinator of the group PNC Caucus for Strategic Progress, the presidential candidate has been holding secret meetings with officials of the ruling party. Even though they have not provided any proof, this is not the first time similar allegations have been made against Mr. Ayariga, and his party seems to be taking the matter seriously. General Secretary of the PNC, Bernard Bona, has told Joy News the party's National Executive Committee will meet tomorrow, Saturday, and that recent issues relating to the flag bearer will be discussed.
Dumbfounded by these allegations that we go to Congress, elect a flag bearer, we have full hope in him that he will be able to take our party into government, and all of a sudden we are hearing news that he is going to abdicate. Serious as the allegations are, and particularly that they are in public domain. Fortunately, the National Executive Committee of our party is meeting on Saturday. We had an agenda to discuss the party manifesto and how to outdoor it. We also had an agenda to look at when we will launch the national campaign, and also an agenda of considering when and what factors will constitute for the selection of the running mate by the flag bearer, and eventually how to prosecute the 2012 campaign. These are the issues that we have planned to discuss. But with this extraneous introduction, it is important for us to also look at it, that a team will be set to investigate and to call those who have made these allegations, so that if they are able to substantiate the allegation, we'll advise ourselves appropriately with regards to our flag bearer. They are failing to substantiate the allegation. We'll also call for its own sanctions and remedy.
Now, the SMS verification of details of registered voters appears to be catching on. Joy News has learned more than 400,000 voters have verified their details as of this afternoon. All it takes is a text message to a text message of your ID number to a short code 1413, and you'll get a text message back with your details as found in the voter register. Gifty Ando-Appiah has been finding out more on this exercise.
The text message, which costs the sender 30 pesos, spares registered voters the stress of trekking to the exhibition centers. Otherwise, should you find your exhibition center deserted as it is in this case, you could resort to the technology, as these registered voters decided to do.
It's supposed to come, but it's not even showing. I don't know if it's a network problem. I don't even know about that. But one inbox, come on. 304. I don't know if that's it. Okay, this is bonus credit. Nah, okay. Does it have to stay that long before it comes? Or?
It didn't come. No.
The head of public affairs at the Electoral Commission, Christian Owusu-Parry, acknowledges some texters may encounter some challenges with the system sometimes.
It's a 10-digit voter ID number. So if you miss just one digit, or if you key one wrong digit, that number will not be in our database, and so it will tell you you are not on the register. I think I've come across one or two people who said they text, the phone told them they are not on the register, but when they went to the registration center, they found their names in the register. The only possible reason is that they missed the voter ID number when they were texting.
Mr. Owusu-Parry, however, insists one's physical presence at the exhibition center is preferable. He explains.
The text messaging will give you your details, but that will not include your photograph. It can only tell you that you are either on the register or you are not there. It can tell you whether there is a mistake in the spelling of your name, age, or other things. But if you want to be sure that your photograph is indeed there, then you have to be physically present at the exhibition centers. We do not want them to assume that because they hold a voter ID card, their names will automatically be on the register.
So why then are we encouraging the use of the technology?
There may be some people who will have difficulty going to the exhibition center. For them, their only alternative of knowing whether they are on the register is this text messaging. Let's imagine somebody who probably registered in Tamale. He's here in Accra over the period that we are doing this exhibition. He may not be able to go back within the 10 days of the exhibition. For him, the text message will be most convenient.
The exhibition exercise runs until Monday, the 10th of September, but officials say the SMS verification platform will still be available. For Doi News, Gifty Ando-Appiah.
Now, without a doubt, the ruling National Democratic Congress and the main opposition, the New Patriotic Party, command the biggest crowds whenever they gather for rallies. The numbers are in their favor, but does it really translate to votes? We've been finding out more in this report.
Very often, parties hold national rallies, in which case they transport members and supporters all over the country to come to the rally grounds. You cannot use this as an index of popularity, because if you are holding a national rally in Accra and people have come from the existing 230 constituencies, maybe 2 buses each, definitely you will put a crowd. That in itself is not a good indicator of the level of popularity. The same applies to if you are holding a regional rally. If you are holding a Western regional rally of the NDC in Secondary Takoradi, definitely you are going to bring people from all over the constituencies in the Western region, and you create impression of huge popularity, which may not be the case. So we should always be very careful. We should ask ourselves, what kind of rally is it? Is it a national rally? Is it a regional rally? In which case, people have been bussed from all over to participate. So we should, those who think that seeing huge numbers at such rallies is indication that a party is on the way to winning, should be very careful.
But analytically, who stands the brightest chance of winning the December polls?
At the moment, think that they are very close in the polls. All the time, if you happen to be in power, 2 things work both for you and against you. The fact that you are the sitting government, first of all, puts you at some kind of disadvantage. People are criticizing what it is like your record. It is your record that is being tested. You know, just because you are in power. At the same time, there's a belief in Africa that because
Now, moving along, the NPP's flag bearer, Nana Akufo-Addo, has reiterated his commitment to revamp the country's economy and stabilize the dwindling fortunes of the city when given the nod in the December polls. The campaign train of Nana Akufo-Addo hit the Ashaiman Township this afternoon, where he re-echoed his commitment to provide free education to all Ghanaian children from the kindergarten to the SHS level.
An exuberant crowd welcomed Nana Addo into Ashaiman. The NPP presidential hopeful first paid a courtesy call on the Ashaiman Traditional Council, where he promised to address the challenges of poor road infrastructure and the springing up of slums in the municipality. He also visited drivers at the main Ashaiman lorry station. The campaign train later made a quick stopover at Sena Radio before some leading members of the party took turns to address residents at a mini rally at the Mandela Park in Ashaiman. The aspiring member of parliament for Ashaiman, Seji Saji Adenunu, was later introduced to the gathering. Flag bearer Nana Akufo-Addo asked residents of Ashaiman to vote for him in order to set the country on the path of economic recovery.
Kasabone, Kasetia, Intro, and the Chrono, and the Babe Diomano. Chrono Keteke, we are Keteke Desa, Yabogana for Chrono, yes, our baby Nabedeba. Akufo-Addo, and old Mampania, Wyoming, Asemia came to be seen, led to be Sitra.
The campaign train of Nana Addo will hit the Wager constituency on Monday, September 10th.
Election headquarters, on radio, on TV, online.
Now, the Vice President, Kwesi Mensah-Arthur, has paid a visit to the Defense Ministry, assuming his role as chairman of the Armed Forces Council.
Mr. Kwesi Mensah-Arthur was at the Defense Ministry to be briefed on security matters from the perspective of the Ghana Armed Forces and to be formally introduced to members of the Armed Forces Council. General Smith said to reverse the distasteful situation of the armed forces, a medium-term strategic plan to revamp equipment and other logistics of the Ghana Armed Forces has already been presented to the Council and Cabinet. Vice President Arthur expressed satisfaction at the work of the Ghana Armed Forces so far and urged them to ensure sustenance of the peace currently existent in the country.
The critical nature of logistics and excellent welfare packages to the effectiveness of military effort is captured in the famous saying by the legendary Napoleon Bonaparte that, and I quote, "An army marches on its stomach," unquote.
We are going into an election and we need to cooperate with other security agencies, especially the Ghana Police Service, in making sure that there's peace and orderliness in the election that we are going to have. So I hope that the Armed Forces Council will work together with the Police Council to ensure a peaceful election in this country. I have joined this board, this council, and I only have 3 months to understand the requirements of the armed forces, the logistic and other requirements of the armed forces, and make a contribution before I step down. And hopefully it will be a period, a learning period, so that we'll have another 4 years on this council.
The Vice President was also taken through the Ministry's museum, where stacks of ammunitions and other security weapons used in the 1940s were kept.
Now let's do some health-related issue, and there are signs of cholera outbreak here in the capital city, Accra, as some people reporting to some clinics have tested positive for the condition. Some sub-metro health directors who spoke to Joy News said there is no cause for alarm as the situation is under control.
Cholera outbreak is largely due to unclean environment and unhygienic practices, especially related to food. In March this year, the Accra metropolis recorded 11 cholera deaths in 2 weeks, and strict adherence to basic hygiene practices were put in place to curb the spread of the disease. But the disease seems to be rearing its head as some clinics are already recording some cases. A visit to some polyclinics in the metropolis indicates that some patients are reporting cases of diarrhea. At the Mamprobi Polyclinic, the Sub-Metro Health Director, Dr. Emilio Nuha, who spoke off camera, said the clinic has received 13 cases of diarrhea, of which 4 have tested positive. The Osu-Klote Sub-Metro Medical Director of Health, Dr. Bright Davis Tay, also confirmed the Adabraka Polyclinic has also received some 12 diarrhea cases, with 1 person confirmed positive.
Most of the cases were coming from Ablekuma Sub-Metro, specifically Sukura and Dansoman. One of the cases, the confirmed one, came from Adabraka. From the data we have, it shows clearly that the people who have gone down with the disease are people who bought food from food vendors outside.
He therefore cautioned the public about practicing good hygiene.
It looks like this is a very early form of probably the outbreak, and we are pleading with the general public that they should still do the things we always advise them to do. That is, one, as much as possible, they should eat from home. They should give up the habit of buying food from outside. If your schedule is so tight that you still have to do that, then it means that you have to really be very careful where you buy the food from. It should be from a very hygienic source.
No deaths have yet been recorded.
The Vector Control Unit of Zoomlion Ghana has begun spraying, fumigating Enduratun district markets, public toilets and final disposal sites in the districts of the northern region. The exercise, which will last for a week, will cover 300 public toilets and all district markets in the region.
Northern Regional Vector Control Officer of Zoomlion, Abdullahi Aziz El Suman, in an interview said the purpose of the exercise is to get rid of the distractions and health hazard that rats, mosquitoes and flies pose in the market, public toilets and final disposal site.
The main purpose of this exercise is to make sure that the marketplaces in all the district capitals, the rats that are found in the sacks destroying our foodstuffs are destroyed. A rat, to most of our people, they think is a pet, or they look at them as a when they are in their houses or in their market stores. They don't take steps to eliminate them. They leave them and they continue to cause distraction to our foodstuffs.
He said when hair or saliva of rat gets into the respiratory system of human beings, it can pose serious health threats to victims, adding that flies and mosquitoes in public toilets can cause and spread cholera. The exercise is a collaborative effort among Zoomlion, the Ministry of Health and the local government ministry. Last month, there was a cholera outbreak in the Salaga district in which 21 cases were recorded, with 2 people losing their lives. The administrator of the Salaga District Hospital, Abdullahi Fatawu, confirmed this to Joy News.
All these cases of cholera, dysentery, diarrhea, and even malaria to a larger extent are a result of our environmental hygiene and sanitation.
He cited environmental hygiene as the cause of the cholera outbreak in the area.
Now, some parts of the Kumasi metropolis would remain in darkness tonight following a fire outbreak at one of the ECG's substations in the early hours of Friday. The explosion occurred on one of the circuit breakers but was quickly put out by firemen.
At
At about 9 a.m. Friday, one of the Electricity Company of Ghana substations in Kumasi was gutted by fire, causing damage to the 11 kilovolt panel at the station where transmitted power from Gridco is stored. This damage has left many parts of the Ashanti region with no electricity. In an interview with Ashanti West Regional Engineer with the ECG, Kwabena Adoma, he noted that some parts of the metropolis will remain in darkness on Friday due to the explosion which has caused over. He said Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital is part of the areas to be affected tonight. Plans will be made to supply power to the hospital. However, others will remain in the darkness to avoid overloading. He added that the circuit beaker where the explosion occurred is meant to detect a fault condition. He was not certain when the fault will be rectified. As at the time of filing this report, technicians were at the scene busily opening up panels to ascertain the extent of damage. The cause of the explosion is yet to be known.
Let's settle for some updates from the world of business in Business Report. First up in business, by September 15th this year, the National Pensions Regulatory Authority expects to approve of over 14 trustees to help manage the new pensions schemes. This will also mean contributors can now check their statements of accounts with their service provider.
Hitherto, issues concerning pensions were solely handled by the Social Security and National Insurance Trust. However, private schemes have now been brought aboard under the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. According to Executive Director of the authority, Sam P. Yale, contributors can check status of their contributions very soon when the trustees are approved.
Going to issue statements to contributors, and the announcement will be coming soon. What I urge contributors to do is when they receive the statement, they should look at it critically. Where they don't understand, because everybody is given a pay slip, where your entries have not been accurate. The simple reason why we are issuing the statement is the fact that we want people to help us to clean the data.
Yale also warned employers who underpaid workers' first and second-tier contributions to pay up to avoid any untoward action. He assured mechanisms are being put in place to ensure that employers do right.
As part of the requirement for registration, we insisted that they put in place ICT facilities. What we are requesting that the ICT facility they have should be portable. We should be able to link to the ICT and see what is happening, the trustees. Besides that, we are requiring periodic reports of a certain form that the board will determine. So every month, the Director of Regulations Monitoring and Supervision team will look at this. This trustee license does. 4 of them have paid. What have happened to the rest? You see, there's going to be vigorous and rigorous constant monitoring of the field.
Besides this, he advised workers' unions and individual workers to report recalcitrant employers to the authority.
It's just been about a week since the Electricity Company of Ghana started the current load shedding exercise prompted by the damage to the West African gas pipeline. ECG has announced that businesses, albeit those in the industrial enclaves, will be spared so they can continue production. But as Yaje Mfi reports, small and medium-sized businesses are not enjoying this respite. As far as they are concerned, it is not business as usual.
The Azogli power plant, which adds some 200 megawatts to the national grid, had to shut down as a result of the damage to the West African gas pipeline. Other plants operated by the Volta River Authority have also been affected, leading to a loss of 300 megawatts in total generation at peak time when demand is high. Already, the small businesses are recording a drop in their sales.
The truth of the matter is, it's really affecting the business in every part, and it's so bad. I have to test the phones that I sell to my customers, and the dryers too, I have to test them. Now, when it's dark, that is where it gets worse, because you cannot operate this type of shop when there is darkness.
Others, such as this fuel station at Abusokai, have to resort to the use of generators to enable them serve their customers and keep their business going. The situation was the same for just about every business owner I spoke to.
At times you may be working on a client and the light will just go off with no notice. At times maybe you have a schedule with a person or a client and the client will be here. Before you get here, you see the lights going off. It will go off. With the client sitting there and with water all over his hair, like you have no choice. But maybe you have to send that person to a different place, or the client will have to go to a different customer, losing that money. And at the end of the day, you'll be billed too.
It affects our income because when we have work to do and we can't do it the day, the customers do come for their work and we are not able to provide them the work. So they have to wait till when the electricity is on that we do the work for them.
For this printing press, his only escape is this faulty generator set. Its shortcomings, however, mean they are unable to meet a client's deadline.
We've not seen the schedule. For example, yesterday the light was taken unceremoniously, and for a number of hours we were staggering, we were idle. I have to ask my workers to go. But at the end of the day, you see, this thing stalls the job, your production level, and then it affects you in so many ways.
This hairdresser at Newtown and her many colleagues who operate from homes across the country are typical of the entrepreneurial spirit that fuels Ghana's growth, but who by way of their location cannot enjoy the ECG's positive discrimination policy targeted at businesses. Even though the hairdresser's contribution and that of her colleagues when put together adds significantly to the country's GDP, all that is lost to the economy, at least until the problem is normalized.
Before we leave the world of business, the Ghana cedi is the second most depreciated currency in Africa despite recent stability. The cedi remains the second most depreciated currency against the dollar in Africa. A report by Ecobank's research wing, which tracks the weekly and year-to-date performance of the currencies of 22 top African countries against the dollar, says Ghana's cedi has seen some marginal stability, especially over the last month, but it appears this is not enough to shore up its value against its peers on the continent. And we'll leave you with some smart investment tips, as well as we'll visit the market for some data. Now you're welcome to the world of show business. And guess who's coming to town to dine, wine and partay with Ghana? The Big Brother Amplified housemates are in Ghana to support their former housemate Confidence as she launches her fashion line on Sunday. The housemates say in addition to offering their support, they are also using the opportunity to get to know Ghana and of course confirm for themselves all the hearsays about Ghana.
Confidence Haugen, who is well known for her fun parties at her Aphrodisiac nightclub, together with her Big Brother Africa Amplified housemates, partied the night away with their fans. Big Brother Amplified housemates Vimbai from Zimbabwe, Vinny from Nigeria, Hani from Ethiopia, Lomwe from Malawi, and Millicent from Kenya joined their Ghanaian housemates Alex Baini, also known as Bomaye, and Confidence Haugen to interact with their fans in the club. During an interview session with the housemates, they acknowledged that Ghana felt like a second home to them, even though it was their first time here.
Just to get to know Ghana as a country, even the food, you know.
I don't mind a Ghanaian man, as long as he loves me, we get along.
I've heard a lot of good things about Ghanaians, and I've gotten to meet a lot of Ghanaians in the house and outside of the house, and I always knew that there were some common characteristics that we had.
Nice to be here. It's nice to be here.
The Amplified Party is all in preparation of the launch of Confidence, the lifestyle brand of confidence. The 10 Miss Malaika 2012 finalists are going to be the official models to hit the runway, to catwalk and display the various confidence shoes, bags and accessories. Several celebrities from Ghana and all over Africa are expected to be present on the night of authentic African fashion and music.
And well, MultiTV's Senior Freak channel is once again giving its viewers reason to stay glued to their TV sets as it premieres the most talked about sensational movie, Too Bad. The movie is based on a story about life in the African ghetto and stars Kwabena Asante, popularly known as Kobi Rana of the music trio Rana.
In the movie, Kobi Rana, who plays the role of Kwabena Asante, works hard to provide for his younger siblings after the tragic death of their parent. Things, however, fall apart and Kwabena Asante is now desperate and together with two men in a similar situations decide to climb the wrong ladder to success. Robbery, rape, murder and extortion crease the fabric of peace in the community as the young men fight hard to make ends meet whichever way. The results of their deeds are just too bad. Find out how these men try to win against the forces of life. Senior Freak channel on MultiTV is premiering Too Bad this Saturday, 8th September 2012 at 7 p.m. and it is the first time the movie is being shown on any screen in Ghana. Too Bad stars some of Ghana's enchanting actors and actresses such as Kobi Rana, Roslyn Ingesa, Patrick Sappho, Papa Sly, Bentus and others. Don't be left out of the fun. Take the front row seats and join the Senior Freak Premier's chat room live on Saturday, September 8, 2012 at 7 p.m. and be part of the excitement as the cast of the movie relate the experiences and interact with viewers. Viewers can join the show via Senior Freak Facebook page, phone and text messages.
Well, I hope you enjoyed your ride through the world of showbiz. Rashida is up shortly with sports.
Hello there, good evening. My name is Rashidat Kadiri. In the latest in the world of sports, we begin on a bad note, and Black Stars midfielder Emmanuel Ajiman-Bidu has been ruled out of tomorrow's 2030 Nations Cup qualifier against Malawi at the Accra Sports Stadium. The Udinese midfielder, who was hoping to recover from a shoulder injury he sustained before joining the team, did not train with his colleagues as they had their last training session at the match venue this afternoon. The team doctor of the Black Stars, Adam Baba, confirmed this at the press conference this afternoon at the Accra Sports Stadium Media Center.
He came with an injury that we thought could subside before the day of the match. He got injured on the 31st of August, that's last week Thursday, in his club. But he was undergoing treatment. And when he arrived, we examined him and thought he could recover very fast. But on the second day, his condition was stable. We could risk, but we just felt he should stay out. He's ready for tomorrow's game.
And the Black Stars will have to decide their place through a home and away round of knockouts. That's the final, left to determine the 15 teams that will join host South Africa in the finals next year. And head coach of Malawi, Kina Firi, believes his side is capable of beating the Black Stars here in Accra. He talks up their chances of a qualification slot at the expense of Ghana's Black Stars.
My team is a young team and they have been doing very well. Zambia beat Ghana recently and we beat Zambia 1-0 with these young boys. So there's nothing to fear. Anything can happen in football. When you are playing at home doesn't guarantee you the fact that you are playing at home, then you win automatically. You have to work and you have to sweat your blood to make sure that you win. So it's exactly what both of us are going to do tomorrow.
And stay tuned to Joy News as we bring you all the latest in the Black Stars squad as they play against Malawi tomorrow. That's it for sports. Coming up next is the international news. Good evening.
Thanks a lot for your time with us here at Joy News at 8.